Well, good evening, DirtFish Rally friends. It's the end of day 2 here in Croatia. Now, yesterday, as I'm sure you all saw, we had the most dramatic of days, in particular for young Kalle Rovanperä. Hasn't quite been as dramatic out there today, but my goodness, we have seen some great competition. Start of the day, top 3 drivers within 10 seconds. The end of the day, well, it's more or less top 3 within 10 seconds, but we've had a little bit of a change around. So I think, before I give David Evans here, my esteemed colleague, the chance to talk, I think what we'll do is we'll very quickly run through the top 10 at the end of day 2. So at the end of day 2, it is Sebastian Ogier who leads over his teammate Elfyn Evans. The lead 6.9 seconds. In third, it's Thierry Neuville, a further 3.5 seconds back. Just 10.4 seconds separates our top 3. Oit Tanak, he is 37.8 seconds off the lead in fourth. Adrian Formeau, what a day he has had out there. He is in 5th place. In 6th, it's Gus Greensmith. 7th, Katsuta-san, he's had a good one as well, you'd have to say. Craig Breen is in 8th. First of our 5 cars is Mats Osberg in 9th place, and Teemu Suunanen is in 10th at the end of day 2. So that's our top 10 at the end of day 2. David, the same top 3 as this morning in terms of drivers, different order though. Sebastian Ogier leads. He built some momentum yesterday afternoon. He continued that today.
Absolutely, 3 fastest times yesterday afternoon and continued into today, and just, you know, real consistency. The thing that I'm kind of curious about is, when is Elfyn actually going to admit that he really is in this fight? He's always hinting that there's a little bit more to come. Is he playing a game? Is there some psychology in there? He is so close to victory here, isn't he? You know, it's really a fascinating race at the end of day 2.
Yeah, and you know what? You know, at the end of day 2, the times are still very close. A lot went on in here, it really did. Yeah. You know, we had what looked like a dominant position from the 2 Toyotas, or building a dominant position at the end of this morning's loop. First stage out this afternoon. But I think real confidence-lacking drive from Elfyn, a puncture from Ogier, and it pulled Neuville right back into it.
That's the point, isn't it? You know, and really, do we need to rewind a little bit more and go back to what happened this morning?
Well, let's talk about Hyundai then, if you want. Let's talk about that first.
Yesterday, they spread the risk across their 3 drivers. Each driver took a different tyre strategy, so one of those 3 would be the optimum strategy for the loop. This morning, they all went out with exactly the same. You know, talk about eggs in the basket. They were all in the same basket, and it went wrong.
It was actually quite bewildering, because clearly on these new Pirelli tyres, they don't have the data. They've tested in certain conditions. You know, it's always a bit of a gamble, and the gamble was spread yesterday. It was a bad decision from Hyundai, and my goodness me, it could have cost them dearly, because Neuville looked so comfortable yesterday. He's not out of it, David, but he's got a massive job to do.
He's not back, but you know, lunchtime today, Andrea Adamo was telling you that he needed a miracle. Right. Maybe he got that this afternoon, but you're dead right, he's not out of it. But you know, this morning, the soft tyre didn't work. You know, the ambient temperature was up. It was really, you know, 21, 22 degrees when we were out on the stages. It didn't work. Hard was the only way to go, and it's absolutely the way to go this afternoon. But just, you know, Thierry, for me, has driven brilliantly here. You know, he came into this event on the back of quite a difficult couple of rallies. You know, Arctic and Monty, starting with, you know, new co-driver. But he's done a superb job, and we're going to see tomorrow, aren't we?
I think we really are going to see tomorrow. I think what was interesting was Adamo's admission that whenever there's a difficult tyre choice to be made, certainly recently, they seem to have made mistakes. That's something that maybe as a team they're going to have a look at.
I think they are. You know, I was quite intrigued as to how do you rectify that, you know, because they got it so wrong this morning, and it was just, I still can't believe that they all went on the same strategy, when quite clearly, you know, there would have been an opportunity to perhaps see what other teams had gone out on and just mix it up a bit and send one of the cars out on all hards.
Well, I think the situation was certainly saved by that first stage this afternoon, that puncture from Ogier, that difficult run for Elfyn Evans. As I say, it's brought Neuville back into it. He is the outsider in the top 3 tomorrow, but he does have every chance. Let's talk a little bit about tomorrow before we talk a little bit more about today. You know, what do we think is going to happen tomorrow, David? We've got 80 kilometres, 4 stages tomorrow.
So for me, it's one of the most exciting final days. We have lots of exciting final days, but you know, you look at the way the itinerary works tomorrow. We've got a long stage first, then we've got a shorter stage, then we're going back into that long stage, 25 kilometres, which is
about 15
17,
miles,
16,
14, 15 miles.
So, but you know, you've got to really
more,
choose
16 miles.
a strategy
Yeah.
to work. We have a slightly earlier start tomorrow, so the ambient will be down. Do you risk the soft? It's hard. You know, I think one thing we can be pretty sure of, we're not really expecting any rain, are we?
We're not. And the other thing you can be absolutely sure of is that if you make a mistake in tyre choice tomorrow morning, it's all over.
It is,
There's
because
no chance to get it back.
No, you come back, and so they then, after those 3 stages, they come back and they can change, and then they take one tyre out for the power stage.
Top 3 at the end of tomorrow?
Top 3 at the end of tomorrow will be the same top 3 at the end of today, but I'm not going to tell you what order. Can we genuinely say that? Can we really say that these 3 drivers who are absolutely on the door handles tomorrow, racing for the win, do we expect a mistake? I mean, surely.
It's a different sort of day tomorrow, David. The
It is,
stages are different. They're more, if you like, they're more Catalunya-like. They're more flowing. There are Armcos, a lot smoother. Different sort of day. You know,
when you're absolutely on the limit in these stages, you know, there is no margin for error. So is it a stretch to expect those 3 to make it back?
No. I think our top 3 will be the top 3. But as you say,
right, I'm going the other way.
Convinced.
I don't think they will.
Okay.
I think one of them will have an incident tomorrow.
Well, that could be quite interesting indeed. The other thing, as I was about to do with my wrap, talk about Formeau, Adrien Formeau, and we'll talk very briefly about Katsuta-san as well. Formeau has had the most exceptional day. He looked good. He looked impressive yesterday. He stepped it up today.
He did.
Really? Yep. What can we read into that, David? What can we read into that in terms of potential in the future?
Potential for the future. You know, he's a very strong French driver on tarmac. You know, we know that. Today has absolutely shown that. What was probably for the future, we need to see him getting more experience on gravel, which is part of the plan for M-Sport. They will run him on some gravel rounds. But just a sublime day. You know,
really
to be coming out on your WRC debut, your World Rally Car debut, and delivering times, consistent times, sure-footed, no issues, not a half spin, nothing, and just complete confidence. It's been superb. I do think we need to pay tribute as well, like you said, to Taka.
Taka-san. Two stage
times?
wins.
Yeah,
Taka-san, listen, I said at the start of the year, I really thought we would see something special from Taka-san as the year progressed. We're seeing it here today. Folks, thank you for joining us on DirtFish.com. Lots more to come tomorrow. David and I are already very, very excited. We will bring you a preview in the morning of just what to expect. David is being the weatherman and saying the skies are going to stay blue. Will join us tomorrow morning and we'll let you know. Thank you for joining us today from Croatia at DirtFish.com.